One Fine Day in the Middle of the Night by Christopher Brookmyre. Narrated by Angus King. The following is based on a true story. 9 o'clock. Nether Kilbokie. Elite unit assembles. William Connor was standing outside a disused cattle shed on a bright Highland summer's morning, ankle deep in cowshit, liquidized mercenary raining splashily down about his head from the crisp blue sky above. He wasn't an overly superstitious man, but this was precisely the sort of thing that tended to make him wonder whether fate wasn't trying to drop just the subtlest of hints. He reached up reluctantly and wiped the gore from his eyelids, then, grimacing, ran a hand through his caked hair, shaking it at the wrist in a whiplash motion. The slick red goo made a wet, snicking sound as it licked the dung-carpeted ground. Sighing, he turned around languorously to face Dawson, who was as inevitably likely to be right behind him as he was extremely unlikely to be impressed. In fact, Dawson's state of impressiveness had begun in its default low and pursued a steepening downward trajectory since his arrival an hour back. At that point, he had given the assembled unit a cursory few moments' scrutiny, then signalled Connor to join him out in the yard. "Who the fuck are these clowns?" he'd asked. "Well, this is a crew, Finlay. These are my men." Connor had tried to sound persuasively confident, but only managed slightly miffed. "Men? They look like a bunch of thugs. Where did you get them? Ned Warehouse?" "Don't judge them till you've seen them in action," he countered, throwing in a knowing smile to disguise the fact that his teeth were beginning to grind. It had been a few years since he'd seen Dawson, but it had taken only moments for the backlog of irritation and resentment to catch up. "Believe me, mate, these guys are sharp." "You've worked with them? All of them?" "Individually, yes," Connor offered confidently, until Dawson's sodium pentothal stare had its inescapable effect. "Well, most of them, anyway," he adjusted. "Never together? Never as a unit?" Connor sighed, ever his most consistent means of expression in Dawson's company. "No, but I can assure you—" "Who actually are they, Bill? What's their background?"
"Christ, Finlay, we don't—"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?